We're going to start talking now about what do you do when you are starting with nothing. The fact of the matter is that 70% of American adults live from paycheck to paycheck. Most people think only 2 paychecks ahead. And it's not uncommon because everybody in America starts off with nothing. The only question is, what do you do over the course of time? And in this session, we'll start showing you how you can go from nothing to being financially independent, as so many hundreds of thousands of millions of people have done. Somerset Maugham once said, "The grass is not, in fact, always greener on the other side of the fence. Not at all. Fences have nothing to do with it. The grass is greenest where it's watered." That's a great observation. When I was starting off in life, I felt sorry for myself because I had no money. I'd read the popular editorials that said that life was unfair in the United States because some people had money and some people didn't. They implied that if you had no money to start off with, you had little chance of success later on in life. Then something profound happened to change my thinking. I discovered that the typical American starts off with nothing. Going back to the earliest debates of the Founding Fathers, it was generally assumed that people arrived in this country with little or no money and had to start from scratch. For this reason, the American constitutional system was designed within a framework of commercial law to make it possible for anyone starting from anywhere to become successful if they worked hard, saved their money, and invested intelligently over the course of their working lifetimes. When I was growing up and right into my early 30s, despite my short-term successes, I never had any extra money with which I could begin working toward financial independence. There always seemed to be enough bills and expenses to absorb every penny I earned. I was always in debt. The idea of breaking out financially never really occurred to me. Even if a great business opportunity did come along, I would not have been able to do anything about it. Because I had no money, I had no freedom. I was held in the golden chains of employment, and I couldn't get free. As I began studying financial success and self-made millionaires, I observed that almost everyone around me was in very much the same condition that I was. No one seemed to have any extra money. Everyone was in debt. Everyone seemed to worry about money most of the time. The idea of becoming truly wealthy was a distant dream with very little possibility of coming true. You may be in the same situation right now, with more bills and debts than money or assets. As I mentioned earlier in this program, the statistics on financial success are a little scary. Out of 100 people who reach retirement age today, according to insurance industry statistics, only 1 will be wealthy, 4 out of the 100 will be financially independent, 15 will have some savings put aside, but the other 80% will be dependent on pensions, still working, or broke. And this will be after a lifetime of well-paid work in the most affluent society in history. How could this happen? There are 2 primary reasons why people retire poor, no matter how much they make in the course of their working lifetimes. First, as we said, they never decide to retire rich. They wish and hope and pray, but they never make a firm, unequivocal decision that they are going to become wealthy. Second, even if they do decide to retire rich, they procrastinate until it is too late. They always seem to have some good reason for putting it off. So if you sincerely want to beat the odds, achieve financial independence, and retire wealthy, there are 4 keys to doing it, and they all start with the letter D. The first step is desire. You must want financial success badly enough to make an unshakable commitment to achieving it. You must be willing to make sacrifices in the short term in order to enjoy financial success in the long term. To break out of the pack financially, you must be willing to delay and defer gratification and expenditures on new cars, clothes, and gadgets, and instead save and invest the money. In the final analysis, the only real determinant of what you can accomplish is the intensity of your desire. If you want it badly enough, you will definitely achieve it. The second step is decision. You must make a decision right now to do whatever is necessary to become financially independent. You must be willing to pay any price and go any distance to achieve your financial goals, or you will not achieve them. You will be out of money all your life and retire poor. There is no alternative. The third D stands for determination. You must resolve to persist until you succeed, in spite of all the problems and obstacles you will experience. No matter how many times you get knocked down, you must be prepared to pick yourself up and continue onward. Determination and persistence are perhaps the most important qualities necessary for financial and personal success. And finally, the fourth D stands for discipline. You must develop the discipline, action by action, to master yourself and to develop the habits necessary for achieving financial independence. You must discipline yourself to get up a little earlier, work a little harder, and stay at work a little later. You must discipline yourself to learn everything you need to know to achieve your financial goal. You must discipline yourself to persist resolutely no matter how many times you experience setbacks, disappointment, and temporary failure. Give yourself a grade on the 4 Ds: desire, decision, determination, and discipline. You can determine how successful you're going to be in the future by measuring how well you are doing in each of these 4 qualities on a scale of 1 to 10 today. Whatever your score, resolve to improve in each area by practicing that quality whenever it is called for. Based on more than 25 years of research into American millionaires, there are basically 5 ways that you can become wealthy starting with nothing. We've touched on some of these already. First, you may be fortunate to inherit the money. Fewer than 10% of wealthy Americans inherit all or a part of their money, and the number is declining every year. More and more American fortunes are first generation. That is, they were earned completely by the person who possesses them. Second, you can become a professional. You can become wealthy by achieving your wealth in one of the professions. You can become a doctor, a lawyer, an architect, an engineer, or an accountant, or take up any other profession that requires long, formalized courses of university study, followed by many years of hard work and practice. As a professional, you can become extremely good at what you do, be paid very well as a result, and then carefully save and invest the money you earn. In the sale of professional services, a person can usually only earn money as long as he or she is working. It's hard to build up equity or residual income in a professional services practice, such as medicine, accounting, or law. Sometimes you can sell your practice, but once you stop working, your income slows down and stops as well. For this reason, professionals who become millionaires almost invariably channel their high earnings into other investments such as real estate, stocks, bonds, and business ventures that can eventually generate cash flow and dividends for them when they stop working personally. A third way that you can become wealthy is by becoming a senior executive of a large corporation. You can get a good education, go to work with a large company, work your way up through the ranks into a senior executive position, be paid very well at your job, and then become wealthy as the result of stock options and investments. The fourth way that people sometimes become wealthy in America is through remarkable chance events. They win the lottery, write a hit song or a best-selling book, invent a timely product or service, or become successful actors or entertainers. The stories of these people fill the newspapers, magazines, and television and radio shows, but they represent less than 1% of the wealthy population in the United States. Your chances of winning the lottery are the equivalent of lightning striking twice in the same place within 2 years. The odds are millions to 1. Fully 95% of actors are unemployed at any given time. Only a few of them earn millions of dollars per picture. Most entertainers are underpaid or underemployed, and even if they break into the big time, most of them retire poor as well. They go through the money as fast as they earn it, and then they end up with nothing at the end of their careers. That's why they say, easy come, easy go. Perhaps you can become wealthy by starting your own business and earning your wealth all by yourself. Starting your own business has always been the high road to becoming wealthy for most self-made millionaires. Fully 74% of wealthy Americans are successful entrepreneurs. In 2003 and again in 2010, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development in Paris ranked the United States as the most entrepreneurial country in the world. Entrepreneurship offers more opportunities and opens more doors than all the other possibilities for wealth creation put together. This is why it has been said that if you have the ability to start your own business and you don't do it, you are a fool. Throughout the rest of this program, I'm going to share with you a series of ideas, methods, techniques, and success systems that you can use in a variety of areas to achieve financial independence. Every idea or recommendation in this program has made hundreds and thousands of people into self-made millionaires. What you can accomplish with the ideas you learn in the time we spend together is completely up to you. It will depend solely on your own personal levels of desire, decisiveness, determination, and discipline. Theodore Roosevelt once said, "Do what you can with what you have right where you are." If you, like most Americans, are starting off broke or with very little money, where do you start? The answer is that you start by getting your finances under control. Remember, it takes money to make money. It's not the money as much as it is the character and discipline you must have to accumulate money that is essential for financial success. It's only when you can get your finances under control at a low level that you demonstrate that you have the ability to manage and grow your money at a higher level. You have to walk before you run, especially financially. One of the great success classics, The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason, was written many years ago. His central idea is still valid today. The book is a primer on financial success because its principles are simple, direct, effective, and true. Throughout his book, Clason says that the starting point of financial success is for you to pay yourself first. Take 10% off the top of your income every time you earn or receive money and put it aside in your financial independence account. Once you have put it aside, never touch it or spend it for any reason other than to invest it and grow it. After you have paid yourself first by putting 10% of your income away, you then learn to live on 90% or less of your income. Fortunately, human beings are creatures of habit. In no time at all, you will develop the habit of living on 90% or less of your income. From that point forward, your financial success is largely assured. Throughout the history of American enterprise, people have heard the recommendation, work hard and save your money. This is the oldest rule for success. Why is it that saving money is so important? It is because saving money is a discipline, and any discipline affects all other disciplines in your life. Each time you exercise a discipline like a muscle, your other disciplines become stronger as well. Each time you fail to discipline yourself in one area, your other disciplines become weaker. You make or break yourself by either developing or failing to develop self-discipline. If you do not have the discipline to refrain from spending all the money that you earn, then you are simply not qualified to become wealthy. And if by some miracle you do become wealthy, then because you lack discipline and self-control, you will not be capable of holding on to your fortune. This is why most lottery winners are bankrupt and back at their old jobs in 2 to 3 years. This is why most overnight successes are broke and back living in one-bedroom apartments. Because they did not develop the disciplines necessary to hold on to their money, it went through their fingers like water. In Session 2, you learned about becoming a money magnet. When you save your money, you activate the law of attraction in your life. Each dollar you save will attract another dollar. When you save $5, $10, or $100, you attract more and more money into your life, often in the most remarkable ways. If you're really serious about your financial future, discipline yourself to go down to your local bank immediately and open a savings account. Put as much money as you can into that account, even if it's only $10. From that day forward, put every bit of money you possibly can into that account to help it to grow. You will find that the more money you put into that account, the more money you will attract from sources that you cannot now predict. You will get bonuses at work. You will receive unexpected income tax refunds. People will repay old debts. You'll find yourself selling used clothes or furniture from around your home or apartment. You may even receive unexpected financial presents. If you can discipline yourself to put each of these gifts into your financial independence account, you will intensify the magnetic power of that account and begin attracting more and more money into your life. Now, how do you begin becoming rich if the idea of saving 10% of your income is impossible for you at this time? Join the crowd. Most people cannot start off saving 10% of their income. Their rent, utilities, car payments, food, and other bills consume everything they earn and a little more besides, usually financed by loans and credit cards. As we say, most people are so far behind that they think they're first. If this is your situation, how do you begin? The answer is simple. You begin by saving 1% of your income and learning to live on the other 99%. If you earn $3,000 per month, this works out to $30 per month or $1 per day. Could you save this amount if your life depended upon it? What if your entire financial future depended upon it? The fact is that you could find a way to live on 99% of your income if your desire for financial independence was intense enough. Because you're a creature of habit, you'll quickly become comfortable living on 99% of your income. Then, you begin saving 2% of your income and living on the other 98%. By increasing your savings rate by 1% per month, within 1 year you will be living comfortably on 90% or less of your income, and you'll be on your way to financial independence. But you must get started. You must take action by opening your financial freedom account and beginning to save 1% of your income today. One of the main mental blocks that holds people back from saving their money, even when they know they should be doing it, originates in early childhood conditioning. When you were young, your parents encouraged you to save money from your allowance and discouraged you from spending it. But you associated spending money with candy and toys, with pleasure and enjoyment. The idea of saving your money was seen as a deprivation or even a punishment. You therefore developed negative feelings toward the entire concept of saving rather than spending. In the work of Sigmund Freud, he explains the pleasure principle. He says that all human action is an attempt to move away from discomfort or pain toward pleasure and enjoyment. Each person as a child associates spending their money with pleasure and enjoyment and associates saving their money with pain and discomfort. As an adult, this mental conditioning prevails and is a primary reason for financial failure and poverty later in life. Your goal is to reverse the subconscious programming that you have with regard to spending versus saving. You must begin to think in terms of the pleasure, security, and enjoyment that having money in the bank means to you. You must associate saving with happiness and success rather than with deprivation and discomfort. You must begin to look forward to saving money as a source of happiness and satisfaction. This just happens to be the mindset of all people who become wealthy. It's often hard for people to think of curtailing their standard of living, of cutting back in their lifestyle in order to save money. When we suggest that you should be living on 90% or less of your income, there's almost always an automatic negative reaction to the idea. You may agree with it logically, but you disagree emotionally with the cutbacks and sacrifices that this entails. However, there is a way to counter this natural negative reaction toward savings and accumulation. I call it the wedge strategy. It may be hard for you to give up spending money you are earning today, but you should have no problem giving up spending money that you don't have at all, at least not yet. Here's how the wedge strategy works. From this day forward, resolve that you are going to save 50% of every raise, bonus, or increase in pay that you earn for the rest of your career. Almost anyone can agree to save 50% of money that they have not yet received. If I were to offer you $1, if you would give me 50 cents of it back, you would accept immediately. You must perform the same mental operation on yourself. From now on, if you receive a $100 raise or an increase in pay of any kind, you must decide in advance that you are going to save 50% of that amount and put it away into your financial independence savings account. By making this decision in advance, before you even receive the money, you'll find it much easier to follow through on your resolution when the inevitable pay increases come to you. The average pay and cost of living increase in the United States is 3% to 4% per year. By following some of the strategies in this program, you will learn how to increase your annual income by 10%, 20%, and even 30% per year. In every case, you must resolve to save half of your increase and to then invest it carefully for the future. By doing this, if you start early enough and persist long enough, you will become financially independent, if not a millionaire, in the years ahead. Once you begin to accumulate money, here is an important rule. Invest the money conservatively. Marvin Davis, an American self-made billionaire, was once asked by Forbes magazine how he accounted for his financial success. He said that he has 2 rules for investing money. Rule number 1 was, don't lose money. He said, whenever I see an opportunity to invest where there is a possibility that I could lose money, I simply refrain from investing in the first place. Regarding rule number 2, Davis said, whenever I am tempted, I refer back to rule number 1. Don't lose money. Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in America who started with nothing many years ago, practices the same rules with regard to investing. Don't lose money. You should do the same. The key to riches is to accumulate your funds carefully and then invest them conservatively. One of the characteristics of self-made millionaires and of old money in the United States is that it is cautiously, conservatively, and prudently invested. Don't try to get rich quickly or make a killing in some area. Instead, concentrate on getting rich slowly. If all you do is save 10% or more of your income, invest it carefully, and make it grow at 8 to 10% average per year, that alone will make you wealthy. Even $100 per month invested at 10.5 interest over 40 years would be worth $1,117,000 at the end of that time. Some years ago, my accountant was a man who also handled the accounting for many wealthy men and women. He found that they all seemed to have 2 things in common. First, they had very low debt. Any money that they did owe was solidly backed by income-producing assets. No matter how strong the economy or how low the interest rates, they refused to go into debt unless the return on the money was substantially higher than the cost of the money. The second quality he found was that none of them got rich quickly or invested in speculative ventures. Over the years, they concentrated on increasing their net worth by 8% to 10% each year after year, with very little fluctuation. They were not greedy. They accumulated their money slowly and they held on to it, no matter what was happening in the economy around them. Once I attended the retirement dinner of a banker who had worked with many millionaires over the course of his career. In his address to the group, he talked about the predominant characteristics of the self-made millionaires that he had encountered. He said that he had worked with sailors, farmers, clergymen, laborers, teachers, and crane operators, as well as others from every walk of life who had become millionaires. He said that the one characteristic that they all had in common was that they saved their money, and then they invested it carefully, cautiously, and prudently. From an early age, they each had a long time perspective and were prepared to spend many years achieving financial independence. The wonderful result of saving your money is that it develops character, discipline, and self-confidence. When you begin to save money, you will feel like the master of your own destiny. Saving money gives you a sense of being in control of your own life. It gives you a sense of personal power and self-confidence. Having money in the bank actually changes your attitude toward yourself and your world. It even affects your body language. One of the major reasons why people are unhappy, anxious, and frustrated today is because they don't have any money in the bank. As a result, they worry about money all the time. They can't order from a menu without looking at the right-hand column to see how hungry they are. But when you begin to save your money and accumulate your funds, you become a different person. Your self-esteem, self-respect, and personal pride increase. Your handshake becomes firmer, and you look people directly in the eye. The knowledge that you have money in your pocket and in your bank account translates into a more erect posture, a more confident voice, and a more positive attitude toward yourself and your life. President Calvin Coolidge once said, "The business of America is business." Everything you do in your financial life has something to do with business in some way. Even if you are a real estate investor or a stock market trader, you are in a form of business. You have sales and revenues. You have profits and losses. You have assets and liabilities. You have choices and decisions to make, and you face continually changing competition and economic forces. Everything that has to do with money involves business principles in some way. Why don't people start their own businesses if they're sincere about becoming financially independent? Usually it's because of fear or ignorance. With regard to fear, some statistics suggest that 80% of new businesses fail within 2 years. Another 10% to 15% of new businesses fail within 4 years. In many cases, the people starting these businesses invest everything they have, plus everything their families will lend them, plus 2 to 4 years of their lives, only to emerge penniless at the other end. The primary reason that people do not start businesses is because they're afraid that they're going to fail and lose all their money, and in many cases they're right. However, if you study the numbers more closely, a different picture emerges. The fact is that most businesses started by inexperienced business people fail within a few months or a couple of years. This is simply because inexperienced business people do not know how to make sales, generate revenues, deliver products and services satisfactorily, hire people, and manage or administer a fast-moving entrepreneurial enterprise in a highly competitive market. Probably 99% of businesses started by people lacking business experience fail within the first 2 or 3 years. Why is the rate of new business failure so high? It's because the entrepreneurs have hopes and dreams, but they don't know exactly what they have to do to make a business successful. They may have an idea for a product or service, but they don't know all the things they need to know to sell and deliver that product or service at a price that enables their business to survive and grow. We'll talk about some of these key success factors in the course of this program. Now here's the good news. Fully 90% of businesses started by experienced business people succeed. Why is this? The reason is because experienced business people know what they have to do to make a business successful. They know how to purchase or produce their products and services. They know how to sell and to market. They know how to generate revenues. They know how to negotiate with their suppliers. They know how to rent premises and negotiate leases. They know how to manage their finances. In other words, they have the experience that is indispensable to business success. For you to start your own business and succeed, these are the things that you must learn as well. According to Dun & Bradstreet, 96% of U.S. businesses that go broke fail because of managerial incompetence. Managerial incompetence means that the people running the business don't know what they are doing. Anyone who's ever built or run a business is continually amazed at how many incompetent people there are out there in the business world at every level. Now, the law of correspondence in business says that your outer world of results will always correspond to your inner world of knowledge, skill, and preparation. To be successful in business, you must learn the skills you need to succeed. Business success is not a matter of luck. Business success is a matter of knowledge, skill, and application. It's a matter of ability. Business success is a matter of experience and intelligence. It consists of skills that you can learn through practice and repetition. Wonderfully enough, you can learn what you need to learn to be successful in any business. Every single person who is successful in business today of any kind at one time had no knowledge or experience of that business at all. Every skill necessary for business success is acquired through learning and practice. And anything that anyone else has done, you can do as well. One of the best ways to become a business success is for you to get on-the-job training. About 80% of successful business people attribute their success to the training and experience that they acquired working for someone else. As a result, they were able to learn on the cheap. They may have learned by trial and error, but their employer absorbed the costs of their errors. By paying close attention to what they did right and what they did wrong, they were able to get the experience they needed and be paid for it at the same time. Now let me repeat. Fully 90% of businesses started by experienced business people eventually succeed. Companies started by people with more than 5 years of business experience are far more likely to be successful than any other type of company. They have a 90% success rate. So, if you're starting off with little or nothing, don't despair. Self-made American millionaires have been broke or nearly broke an average of 3.2 times before they finally developed the skills and experience that they needed to break through financially. Be prepared to have many ups and downs on the way to becoming wealthy. This is simply a part of the price that you have to pay to break out of the pack. Now here are 3 things that you can do immediately based on what we've been discussing. First, get your feet wet. Start your own business today, even if it's just a sole proprietorship that you can start at home without registering anywhere. Open a bank account in the name of your new business and use your Social Security number as your tax ID number. Second, imagine that you already have lots of money. What kind of business would you want to get into if you had no limits? Begin doing research in that area. And 3, take the long view. Determine what subjects you need to learn and what skills you have to acquire to start and build a successful business. Make a plan and get started today. Remember, action is everything.